بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. So, because in the last lecture I rushed through number 8, the bat, inshallah in this lecture we're going to pick that up, but that's going to give us a little bit more material, so I'm going to have to go a little bit faster in order to conclude the whole 15 lectures in tomorrow's lecture. So we're going to do the bat again. Basically, we're going to do number 8 to number 20. So we're going to look at the bat, and the reason we didn't get to it is because there's so many examples, and then we're going to go straight until we get through number 20. Number 20 is lawla. And then for tomorrow or the next lecture, we'll just conclude the section. Now, most of them are simple, but there are a couple of them that I wanted to point out in the introduction for you that are important. Number 14, ala, that's going to have a lot of, it can mean a lot of things. Also, number 16, fi, the fi has a lot of examples. And then number 19, the last one, lam, just the lam and alif, lam. So these, it's same format. I'll go through them, I'll read the text, we'll do the translation, and I'll try to give examples. Some of them I might not give a full example because there's just so many, or else we'll never finish in time. But these are the most, these are the ones that I think stick out, like the ba, in the sense that they will require a little bit more time and a little bit more example. Now again, these are, just to repeat some of the things that we've said in the past, these are things that you will find in tafsir, you will find in language, but the way that the usulis bring those different meanings together for the point of view of istinbat al-ahkam, for deriving the rulings, is quite unique. So even though you might know what these know what these mean, what these letters and prepositions and all that mean, they are going to have very different meanings, or specific meanings, let's say, not different. They're going to have specific meanings as we come to discuss them in the science of Usul al Fiqh, because here we are concerned with, when we discover them in a verse, or we discover them in a hadith, in a primary text, or any text for that matter, what could possibly be the potential meanings from the point of view of deriving rulings. Okay, that's the game plan. I'll see you back for our discussion, inshallah. All right, we'll just jump right in, inshallah, because we're short on time. So he says, now we're going to redo number 8, the ba. قال المصنف رحمه الله ونفعنا بعلومه في الدارين آمين. والباء للإلصاق حقيقة ومجازا وللتعدية وللسببية وللمصاحبة وللظرفية وللبدلية وللمقابلة وللمجاوزة وللاستعلاء وللقسم وللغاية وللتوكيد كذا للتبعيد في الأصح. That's a lot. So, ba is used to conjoin things. To conjoin, if you like, you said bihi da, in him is a disease. So obviously you're conjoining things literally, or majazan, or metaphorically. Like we said before, marartu bi Zayd. I walked with him, but not attached to him. It's a metaphorical usage of that. وللتعدية to transfer ذهب الله بنورهم, and Allah transferred their light. We talked about that in the last one. وللسببية, for causes. فكلا أخذنا بذنبه, so Allah Ta'ala took them because of their sins. So the causing of Allah Ta'ala's punishment is the people's sins. وللمصاحبة, to associate. قد جاءكم الرسول بالحق, so the Prophet ﷺ came, and with him, musahaba, with him, attached to him, was the truth. وللظرفية, prepositionally. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ, Allah Ta'ala gave you victory where or when? At the battle of Badr, Badr. وَلِلْبَدَلِيَّة, for instead of. When Umar radiallahu anhu asked the Prophet ﷺ for Umrah, and then he gave it to him, he said, yes, Umar radiallahu anhu said, ما يسرني أن لي بها الدنيا. So this is more beloved to me instead of than the dunya. And then وللمقابلة, in exchange of ولا تشتري بآياتي ثمنا قليلا. Do not buy with my revealed words to exchange them for a few amounts of money. والمجاوزة, to ask about سأل سائل بعذاب واقع. So a questioner asked about the punishment that will come. For elevation, الاستعلاء. ومن أهل الكتاب من إن تأمنه بقنطار. For there are those amongst the people of the book that if you give them a qintar, which is a large amount, they will be, they will be honest with that. So بقنطار. And then to swear, للقسم بالله لأفعلن كذا. بالله, by Allah, I will do this. To swear, not sorry, I skipped. To swear. We did the qasam, and then للغاية, for a goal. وقد أحسن بي. This is in Surah Yusuf. So he was good to me. This is like إلى. إلي. So قد أحسن إلي. But instead of that I said وقد أحسن بي. And then للغاية, we did that. To confirm للتوكيد كفى بالله شهيدا. Allah is enough of a witness. And then for part of, with كفى للتبعيد في الأصح, the dominant opinion, عينا يشرب بها عباد الله. يشرب بها, they will drink from part of it, they will not drink all of it. So you can see why the bet is a lot, right? Because there's a lot of things that we just discussed. Okay, I'm going to move forward just a little bit faster so I don't lose the momentum. Then he says, rahimahullah, بل للعطف بإضراب is used to object by joining. وللإضراب فقط, or simply to object in order to negate. إما للإبطال أو للانتقال من غرض إلى آخر, or to transfer from one thing to another. So you can say جاء زيد بل عمرو. Zayd came, bel. You're objecting? No, Amr came. I was wrong. It was Amr. Or just to negate, you could just say جاء زيد bel, which is not a little bit archaic of a usage. It's not as common, and there's no other opinion or other thing to negate it with. Or to transfer أم يقولون به جنة بل جاءهم بالحق. They say that he is, crazy, or he's come with some kind of, he's possessed by the jinn or something like that. No, in bel, it is the haqq. So to transfer from one to another. Okay, bayda, number 10. وبيد بمعنى غير وبمعنى من أجل ومنه بيد أني من قريش في الأصح. Bayda meaning except that, and meaning for the purposes of, and like, quote, because I am from Quraysh in the dominant opinion. So, he says, for example, except that, إنه كثير المال بيد أنه بخيل. He has a lot of money except that he is stingy. For the purposes of, if he said أنا أفصح من نطق بالضاد بيد أني من قريش. I am the most fluent to speak with the dad, or the language of Arabic. It's called لغة الضاد because the dad is a hard letter and it's a unique letter. Because I am from Quraysh. And that's what he said in the dominant opinion. Okay, number 11, ثم. وثم حرف عطف للشريك حرف عطف للتشريك والمهلة والترتيب في الأصح. ثم is a preposition used for conjunction and to indicate that indicates order in the dominant opinion. So حتى إذا ضاقت عليهم الأرض بما رحبت وضاقت عليهم أنفسهم وظنوا أن لا ملجأ من الله إلا إليه ثم تاب عليهم. This is in Surah At-Tawbah verse 118. So until all of these things happened, the ground was closing in around them, they were about to give up. ثم, then Allah Ta'ala, so it indicates order. So the stuff happened in the beginning that was difficult, and then the order is Allah Ta'ala, ثم تاب الله عليهم, then ثم تاب عليهم, and then Allah Ta'ala forgave them. So the thumma is for an order, because when you have things mentioned in the primary text, you need to know if they're in order or if the order is optional. That stuff is quite significant. Okay, maybe I can squeeze in number 12 here. حتى لانتهاء الغاية غالبا is for the final goal, is usually for the final goal. وللاستثناء نادرا, and sometimes to make exceptions. وللتعليل, and to explain causes. Okay, so حتى is usually used for the final goal. سلام حتى مطلع الفجر. So you can observe Laylatul Qadr until the goal, until the Fajr time comes. That's how it's usually used. And then he says, وَالْإِسْتِثْنَاءِ نَادِرًا, you can use it to withhold in some rare situations. And then to explain causes, أسلم حتى تدخل الجنة, become Muslim so that you can enter into the paradise. Okay, I rushed, and then as I'm coming to the end of the first, I forgot to say that we ask Allah Ta'ala to have mercy and forgiveness on Shaykh al-Islam Zakir al-Ansari, and may we benefit from his knowledge in this world and in the next. I was just so concerned that last clip I squeezed in the bet. I needed to just kind of, I think now I can come to a slowdown. I apologize if I'm rushing a little bit. It's just that you think that these are simple drop-down lists, but then you realize that each single thing in the sentence, like by each preposition, there's so many examples that if you don't give a proper example, you kind of lose track. So it's always a debate, how much time is it going to require to record that. So I do apologize for that. We ended with number 12, and inshallah we'll pick up the next clip with number 13, Rubba, and I'll try to slow down a little bit, bi'Iznillah ta'ala. See you back soon. All right, so we ended last clip with 12, hatta, so we'll begin with 13, Rubba. ورب حرف في الأصح للتكثير. Rubba is a preposition in the dominant opinion used for plenitude, وللتقليل, and scarcity. So that's both. It can be used for plenitude and scarcity. ولا يختص بأحدهما في الأصح, and it is not specifically for one or the other in the dominant opinion. Okay, for التكثير, for plenitude, he has Surah Al-Hijr, verse 2. ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين. The disbelievers wish that they would be believers, and this is, they wish a lot, that they would be believers. In the scarcity, he has this line of poetry: ألا رب مولود وليس له أب وذي ولد لم يلده أبوان. That a child will be born and does not have a father. Being born an orphan, which is, this is obviously the taqleel in the reduced scarcity. Ibn Malik, the famous grammarian, says that its use in the plenitude is more common. And as he said in the dominant opinion, it is not necessarily by default specific to one or another, although you will find a debate about that amongst the grammarians. Okay, number 14, ala. This is one of the ones, it's like bet, it's a lot. Ala, وعلى الأصح أنها قد ترد اسما بمعنى فوق. Ala in the dominant opinion is a noun that means on top of. وحرفا للعلو, it can also be a preposition indicating elevation. وللمصاحبة, for purposes of conjoining. وللمجاوزة, to explain by overlooking. Okay, I'm going to go over all of these. وللتعليل, to explain causes. وللظرفية, situational. وللاستدراك, to mean however. وللتوكيد, to confirm. وبمعنى الباء ومن, and with the meaning of باء. and min. أما على يعلو ففعل, it can be a verb if in the verb form على يعلو. So that's a lot. So على, he says, in the dam is a noun to mean on top of. So الرجل على الطاولة, you know, the man is on top of the table. Why would he be on top of the table? I'm not sure, but that's the sentence that came to me. And then a preposition to indicate elevation. كل من عليها فان. Everyone who is on top of the earth, elevated on top of the earth. فضلنا بعضهم على بعض. We have given preference to some over others. So there's the elevation. For purposes of conjoining. وأتى المال على حبه. Give money to those in need. على حبه, because you have despite your love for the money. وللمجاوزة, which I translated as to explain by overlooking. رضيت عليه, I am satisfied with him by overlooking his mistakes. وللتعليل, to explain causes. ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم. Why should you do takbir of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? على, because of what he has given you. الظرفية, situational. ودخل المدينة على حين غفلة من الناس. He entered Musa alayhi salam into the city when على حين غفلة من, when the people were not paying attention. So that's a situational, ظرفية. وللاستدراك, to mean however. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. فلان لا يدخل الجنة لسوء فعله على أنه لا ييأس من رحمة الله. So and so will not enter paradise because of his bad deeds. However, you should not fear or give up hope in Allah's Ta'ala's mercy. So here the ala is in the use of however. للتوكيد, to confirm. لا أحلف على يمين, I will swear a right oath. With the meaning of the ba. حقيقة على أن لا أقول. حقيقة على here with the meaning of the ba, that I will not say. And then with the meaning of min. إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون. So here, the ala here is from min, is the meaning of min. And then in the ala ya'lu, it's, if you use ala ya'lu, that's a verb. And here he gives the example, inna fir'auna ala fil ardi, that Pharaoh has become, arrogant or aggrandized on earth. Okay, number 15 is the fa. والفاء العاطفة للترتيب. The fa that is added is for ordering. وللتعقيب, and for something coming after. وللسببية, and for causes. For ordering, he says دخلت البصرة فالكوفة. I entered Basra and then Kufa. So there's an order of which one you went into first. And then السببية, for causes. فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه. Moses alayhi salam punched him and then he died. So the punching was the cause of the death. So the fa, even though there's only those two examples, the ordering is actually very common, because fa is a common preposition that you'll find in the Arabic language. Okay, and then number 16, في. وفي للظرفية وللمصاحبة وللتعليل وللعلو وللتوكيد وللتعويد وبمعنى الباء وإلى ومن. So في is a ظرفية, situational. مصاحبة, association. للتعليل to explain causes, للعلو elevations, وللتوكيد confirmations, وللتعويد replacement, وبمعنى الباء and the meaning of باء, إلى and من. So let's go over that, and this will probably occupy this the rest of this clip. Situational. واذكروا الله في أيام معدودات. Remember Allah Ta'ala when? During. That's a situation during these special times. للمصاحبة للأssociation قال دخلوا في أمم. Enter into the communities or to the nations. وللتعليل to explain causes. لمسكم فيما أفضتم فيه. لمسكم في meaning because of what you have done. للعلو elevation. لا أصلبنكم في ذجوع النخل. I will crucify you on the date trees. Elevation meaning not elevation like to honor something, elevation like physically high versus low. وللتوكيد to confirm. قال اركبوا فيها. You could have just said اركبوها, ride it. اركبوا فيها, here this is to confirm that you are going to ride in it. So the fi here is to confirm where you're going to ride. وللتعويد replacement. ضربت في من رغبت. Meaning I hit him wherever I wanted, any part of him. وبمعنى الباء, in the usage of باء, جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا. عفوا. ولكم في القصاص حياة. And in these stories you have life. عفوا في القصاص, in this قصاص situation of the blood money is life. Fi here is the meaning of the ba, and then it can also mean with ila. فردوا أيديهم في أفواههم, they return their hands to their mouth, to their mouth, and in the meaning of min. هذا ذراع في الثوب, this is a sleeve of the garment, meaning from the garment, min الثوب, from the garment. And then we'll pick up in the next clip to the end, inshallah. All right, so we ended with fi number 16, so we got to do 17 to 20. So 17 is K. وكي للتعليل وبمعنى أن المصدرية. K is to explain causes, and the meaning of N, it is in N, which is situational. So to explain causes, جئت كي أنظرك. I came so that I can see you. So the reason of your coming is to see. That's explaining the cause. And then the meaning of N, which is situational, جئت لكي تكرمني. I came so that you can honor me. So here it is the ظرفية, it's a situation, the coming, the time and the place. That one's pretty simple. Okay, كل with a shadda on the lam, كل. وكل اسم لاستغراق أفراد المنكر. عفوا المنكر. كل اسم لاستغراق أفراد المنكر. كل is to include all things that are mentioned that are singular. والمعرف للمجموع, also those known from the plural form. أو أجزاء المعرف المفرد, or part known from the whole. This is very significant, and I'll give you my own example after we go through the examples in the book. So it is to include all mentioned that are singular. كل نفس ذائقة الموت. So nafs here is singular. It's not al-nafs, it's nafs. It's singular, and it's not a definite article. So therefore every single soul will taste death. كل حزب بما لديهم فرحون. Same thing. or he says known from the plural form. كل العبيد جاءوا, all of the slaves, and here it's abid, the plural form with a definite article, came. And then he says, rahimahullah, or part known from the whole, كل زيد أو الرجل حسن, meaning every part of him. So this is important because when you have a hadith like كل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار, this is where these meanings, each single one or part of a whole, will become important to know. Al-lam al-jarra, al-lam that causes the jar to take place after it. Al-khaft yani, I lost my place, sorry, lam 19. للتعليل is for explaining causes. وللإستحقاق, that which is appropriate. وللإختصاص, specification. وللملك, possession. وللصيرورة, that which comes next. وللتمليك, giving others possession. وشبه, partial possession. وللتوكيد النفي, to confirm the negative. وللتعدية, can affect two parts of the verbal sentence. وللتوكيد, for confirmation. وبمعنى إلى, and with the meanings of إلى, على, في, عند, وبعد, ومن, وعن. Okay. So the lam للاستحقاق, عفوا للتعليل. Where's the sentence in the book? Okay, to give explanation of causes. وأنزلنا إليك الذكر لتبين للناس. We send down this Quran لتبين, to show it clearly to people. That's the explanation of the cause. للاستحقاق, that which is appropriate. النار للكافرين, the fire is for those who disbelieve, it's appropriate for them. وللإختصاص, specification. لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض, to Allah alone belongs the heavens and the earth. للملك, عفوا I missed one. الاختصاص, specification. الجنة للمؤمنين, paradise is for the believers. And then al-milki, possession, that's lillahi ma fi samawati wal ard, to Allah alone belongs the heavens and the earth. وَلِلصَّيْرُورَةِ, which I translated as that which comes next. فَالْتَقَطَهُ آلُ فِرْعَوْنَ لِيَكُونَ لَهُمْ عَدُوًّا وَحَزَنًا. So then when Moses was found, he was found, and then what comes next is that he becomes a source of despair for them. وَلِلتَّمْلِيكِ, giving others possession. وَهَبْتُ لَهُ ثَوْبًا, I gifted him a thawb, a garment. So this is the lam here is للتمليك, I gave him ownership, because the hiba, as we studied in our fiqh, is a form of ownership. وشبهه, or partial ownership, like وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَنِينَ وَحَفَدًا. وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَنِينَ وَحَفَدًا. We don't really own our children and grandchildren, but it's a partial ownership because we have them to enjoy in this world. وَلِلتَوْكِيدِ النَّفْيِ, to confirm the negative. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُعَذِّبَهُمْ وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ, Allah Ta'ala will not punish them once you are amongst them. وَلِلتَعَدِيَّ, can affect two parts of the verbal sentence. مَا أَضْرَبَ زَيْدًا لِعَمْرٍ, so Zayd was not hit because of Amr. For confirmation, للتوكيد. إن كنتم للرؤيا تعبرون, so this is to confirm. And then he says it can be used in the form of إلى. سقناه لبلد ميت, or إلى بيد, it could be used for إلى, or على. يخرون للأذقان سجدا, meaning they fall على, on their heads, faces prostrating. It can be used as في. وضع الموازين القسط ليوم القيامة, meaning في, during يوم القيامة. عند يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي, I wish that I would have done something at the time of my life. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. بعد أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس, after the دلوك of the shams. من سمعت له صراخا, and then in the meaning of عن وقال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا. Okay, and then the last one is لولا. So لولا, he says رحمه الله, لولا حرف معناه في الجملة الإسمية امتناع جوابه لوجود شرطه. لولا in a nominal sentence is to negate an answer due to its clause or condition. وفي المضارعة, and in the verbal sentence, التخصيص والعرض. It is to ask with emphasis or to ask gently. والماضية التوبيخ, and if it's used in the past tense, verbal sentence in the past tense, it is to warn. ولا ترد للنفي, it does not come as a negation. ولا الاستفهام في الأصح, nor a question in the dominant opinion. Okay, so he says rahimahullah, to explain in the nominal sentence is to negate an answer due to its clause and condition. لولا تستغفرون الله. It's a wrong sentence, sorry. لولا زيد أي موجود لأهنتك. If it were not that Zayd were here, I would have harmed you. So this is a nominal sentence, jumla ismiya, and it is to negate the answer due to the condition. So you're negating hitting him because of the condition that Zayd is there. Now in the verbal sentence, the nominal sentence, لولا تستغفرون الله. Were it not that you ask Allah or make istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in the past tense, to warn لولا جاءوا عليه بأربعة شهداء. ولا ترد للنفي والاستفهام في الأصح. And lastly he says it does not come as a negation or a question in the dominant opinion. Sorry that I kept looking down because there are so many examples, I don't want to lose it, the Arabic and the English. This is the end of today's portion, and then tomorrow's portion will conclude the whole section and unit, inshallah. Allah ta'ala a'la wa a'lam, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa mawlana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. So alhamdulillah, in today's lecture, which was a lot more heavy than I wanted it to be, but yani alhamdulillah, we did it. We backtracked a little bit, we backpedaled, and we went back to the ba, number 8, and we went all the way to number 20, lawla. And we took them, basically the same format. I pointed out that the ba is something that has a lot of examples, so that's something you got to look out for. And then something like ala has a lot. Fa, it didn't have many examples, but it's quite consequential. We looked at kull, and I mentioned the bid'ah hadith because the word kull is there. And then the last one, lawla, the second to last, 19, lam, also had quite a bit. So when you do the preposition sections, you have to go through it a few times, and you have to look at the examples from the Quran and the Hadith. Those are the best examples because you're going to always be the most familiar with those examples. So there's not much more I could have done or said, I think, but at least I've recorded for you the translation, which inshallah I ask Allah Ta'ala to make this an accurate translation, may be acceptable to Him and pleasing. But also, I did my best to give you the examples, and I hope I might have missed one or two, and I'm sorry if I've done that. But the examples are the key. You can't just memorize them. It can be used in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, you have to know the examples so that you can learn to recognize them. Because it's one of those situations where you might memorize the rule, but then when you come to read it in the Quran and Sunnah, you might not recognize it because you've had no practical application. So this is one of those cases where you really do need to remember the examples. Now, some of the examples, or some of the usages rather, for the prepositions are predominant, but some of them are also not. They're a little rarer than others, but still the reason we have them and we study them is that they do come up. And again, just to double down on the importance of the examples, that's how you're not going to get lost in the preposition discussion. I think those are the main points that I wanted to make. There's just so many examples that it's kind of hard to summarize them, other than just to say these last couple lectures you probably want to go through a couple of times. Anyway, we'll put a pin in it here, and I'll see you back for our next and final lecture for this unit. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam, wa sallallahu ala sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.